Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be giving you an update on our septic situation. If you watched our video a couple weeks back, you know that it didn't go so well our first time around. So our first probe test did not go well, but we had...
Well, I showed in our last video, before the excavation contractors left, I had them dig 7 more pits kind of around the contour of the top of the hill here. And the following week, the septic enforcement officer came back out and luckily approved 2 sites within the 7 pits. So we had 2 options to choose from, and the good news is, you know, we're going to be able to get a system in and be able to get our building permit, because that's a requirement, is that you can pass the septic test. But unfortunately, we will have a sand mound, so
Yes.
That's more expense and complexity than we really wanted to start with, but beggars can't be choosers.
And also, the sand mound isn't going to be that high. It's going to be around 3 feet tall. And based on the location that we chose, we're not going to really be able to see it from the house. It's pretty far back into the woods, which we are going to have to trench into the woods, but at the very least, we won't have to see it from our house.
Yeah, in hindsight, it's kind of good that we failed the first time, because if the sand mound would have been up there, it would have been right next to the house. It was a complete eyesore. But here, we're back in the woods. There's a whole bunch of trees between us and the house, and so you're really never going to see it.
Yeah, so right now we are here at the property. We have to get our septic site ready for the Perc test, and we're going to explain to you kind of how that works and how we're going to prepare our site. Keep in mind, as we explain this process, it might be different depending on where you live, but this is the process that we have to follow, and so we figured we would share it just to give you some insight on how it works.
So we have our 2 pits 70 feet apart on the contour, and basically the system has to go between there. But first, we essentially have to clear out a large area around it so we can work. And for us, that includes a whole bunch of downed trees from the timber harvest and just ones that had died over the years, and also a whole bunch of rocks. We're gonna have to take all the large rocks, maybe anything over 4 inches, off the surface here, and then we'll do our 6 perc holes. So they're essentially 20-inch deep post holes, 6 inches diameter. There's gonna be 2 inches of gravel, pea gravel, that we have to put in the bottom of each hole, and they're evenly spread in our absorption field between these two pits that are 70 feet apart. And then essentially we just had to provide the water in order to do the test. So it's 1 5-gallon bucket per hole, and he asked for a couple more because we're going to be a well-draining site with all the rock. And that's essentially it. Once we have all those prepped, and we'll put the buckets over the holes to seal them off temporarily, the enforcement officer will come back, do the test, and we'll be all done.
Yes, so just the main things we're going to be working on today are probably clearing up some of the rocks and the brush, and then we'll start digging the holes once we know that he's going to be coming. We're not sure if he can make it this week, so we might wait to dig the holes, depending, right?
And we're probably going to run out of time today anyway.
Yeah, because it is getting dark quickly. I briefly want to share some of the things that are going on behind the scenes. So one of those things is we are working to get our well installed this year. Alex has met with 3 different contractors and received bids back from them. So he has to decide who we want to use for that. Then we also just received our well permit, so we are cleared to do the work. And then the next steps for our septic are to decide whether or not we want to do that work, or if we want to hire that work out and kind of go from there. And then lastly, we are trying to get part of our electric service installed this year. So Alex has been in contact with our electric provider, or electric service provider, and has met with them on that. We will also this year be doing a lot of our design work, so interior design. I'm doing a lot of that. I'll be purchasing a lot of that stuff up front, so I'll try to share more of that along the way. a great place for me to share that information is on our new website, which is now live. Well, it has been live for a while, so if you've looked at it, you've probably been like, what is going on? Because it was in work. But the site is now live and it looks pretty. It's definitely not complete in any way, but this is a way for us to organize our content in a way that's easy for you guys to find. YouTube is a great tool and great resource, but as far as making it easy for someone to find some of our videos, it's not the best resource. So we have our website and we will start organizing some of our content there. So go check it out. It's called masondixonacres.com. And yeah, let us know what you think. If there's other things that you want to see more of, or other content that you want to hear more about, leave a comment below and let us know. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week.